Hi, once again, and welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas with the Ruths. We're on day 8. And if you do the math on that, it's obvious Christmas is right around the corner. Okay, let's look and see what's behind day 8. This is a piece I picked up at a local shop a few years back, and I just love it because of the whimsical nature of it, how fun it looks, and of course, the message. May the spirit of Christmas bring love, joy, and peace to your life. And I'll explain a little bit further as to why I chose this piece for today after we listen into Dr. Mike share the last myth with you, myth number 6 from his webinar, Forgiveness, Absolutely Crucial, Completely Misunderstood.
And then the 6th and final myth, and this might be the biggest of all. It's really hard to make a judgment on that because it varies so much from person to person. And in fact, on a personal level, the biggest myths of all are the ones that have you trapped, right? Doesn't matter about everyone else. If myth number 2 has you trapped, then that's the most important one. If myth number 1 and 3 and 5 have you trapped, those are the most important ones. Myth number 6 believes speaking the words, "I forgive you," sincerely makes the matter a done deal. If I say that and I mean it at the time, then that's the end of the matter. It's all over. The issue is concluded. I have said, "I forgive you." What you will learn is that speaking those fateful words can bind you up in the forgiveness knot and actually make your situation much worse. I can't tell you how many clients have told me that their problems really began when they said, "I forgive you." Quite often, it slides us toward a depression. And in many cases, we've had clients who were resoundingly depressed, and the cause lay in this very matter. They had told someone they forgive them when in reality they weren't ready to forgive at all. And indeed, they hadn't forgiven. Doesn't mean they weren't sincere when they spoke those words. Doesn't mean they didn't mean it. But they spoke the words, "I forgive you." And now they're trapped in the forgiveness knot. Now they don't know where to turn and what to do. So if that myth applies to you, I would encourage you to circle that one. Let me just list the myths for you one more time to make it convenient so you can take the page with the numbers on it and circle those that apply. Myth number 1, forgiveness is for the sake of the other person. If that applies to you, circle number 1. Number 2, forgiveness means the relationship must be restored. If you have troubled with this myth and probably experienced harm because of it, well, go ahead and circle myth number 2. Myth number 3, if I forgive them, I will be disregarding my rights, my feelings, my pain, everything I suffered as a result of what they did to me. If that myth resonates with you, go ahead and circle it on the page. Myth number 4, forgiving makes me feel and look weak. Does that one apply to you? Go ahead and circle it. Myth number 5, I genuinely don't believe they deserve my forgiveness. Now it's going to take what the Greeks call thrasos to circle this one. But simply, it means guts. It might take some guts to circle number 5 because we don't like how that sounds. We know that makes us sound a bit arrogant, a bit self-righteous. We don't like it. But be honest with yourself. You're the only one who's going to see your sheet. If this applies to you, circle it. And then lastly, myth number 6. I sincerely said to them, "I forgive you." So that makes the issue a done deal. Now, if this one's true for you and you spoke them prematurely and you weren't ready and you don't really know what is involved in forgiveness, I know one thing about you. I don't have to convince you that it's possible to get tangled up in the forgiveness knot. You know it's possible. You are tangled up. If you did this prematurely with an inadequate knowledge of what forgiveness involves and how it first and foremost relates to your condition, your needs, the psychological and spiritual dynamics taking place inside of you around the matter, I don't have to convince you of what it's like to be tangled in the forgiveness knot if you have embraced this myth. Go ahead and circle this one if you have. You can take this list and look at it, and it shows you specifically what to target. It personalizes this issue of the 6 myths for you. It shows you where you're stuck. It identifies for you the points you're hanging on. They may not be the same for someone else. We're not concerned with that. We're concerned with personally for you where the trouble lies.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. I really hope that was eye-opening for you. Now let's look a little bit further as to why I chose this in relation to this myth. We love to think of Christmas as a magical time, and indeed it is, but only if you approach that from the right perspective. Christmas is magical in the sense that it is spiritual. It is a spiritual mystery because God himself came to earth through the Christ child, born of a virgin. Now that is a mystery. In the same way, the practice of forgiveness is a spiritual matter. There is no magic in just saying the words, I forgive you, just like Dr. Mike explained. Although we would love to think there were, because it's so much easier to say, if I can just say that, if I can just tell you I forgive you, maybe all this angst would go away and I would be able to let it go and move on and get past this. Problem is, if you've tried it, you know that doesn't work. He doesn't have to tell you there's no magic in that. You already know it. However, if you do process through the 5 stages of forgiveness, if you choose to take that journey, and at the end of that journey, you arrive at the place when you are ready, willing, and desirous to truly forgive your offender, and then you say the words, I forgive you, there will be relief and, if you will, magic in that experience for you. I want to tell you more about that tomorrow and let you in on a little bit more about who we are and what we're about. So until then, have a great rest of the day, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Goodbye.